Hi, how are you? It's me, Deep Space Nectar. I appreciate you for coming back. And if you're new, welcome. Tap in, check me out. If you catch a vibe, show me some love, like and subscribe. I'm excited and grateful to be here. Thanks for stopping by. So let's dig deep, let's grow so we can aspire to inspire before we expire. Happy full moon in Capricorn. How are you doing, collective? So the message I got, I'm gonna just jump right into this and then I'm gonna start pulling some cards here. The message I got is death is an illusion. Can't you see it? Walk right into it. Surrender and purge your system. Send the shockwaves out into the universe. And I was thinking about that. I was like, you know, maybe death is kind of like refinement, okay? Or the energy of death is about refinement, okay? So maybe check your 8th house too. Something about your 8th house could be significant to this full moon in Capricorn, to this reading. Again, all my readings are timeless. And there's layers. There's layers to this shit. Yes, there is. Okay, so I'm really getting heavy on the detox, okay? Detoxing your mental, your physical, spiritual, your environment, your body, okay? Emphasis on detoxing the toxicity, right? It's like there's so many toxins and so much toxicity that's being pumped into the air that we breathe, into the food that we eat, into things that all of our senses soak up, right? That's really what it is about too. Okay, but I really want to focus on the physical body. That's what I'm being called to focus on, right? So, you know, we talk about you know, demons, right? And we think of demons as and entities and other energies. And they very well do play a part in this too, right? But there's demons that we have within our bodies too. And I don't want to scare anyone, but this is just the truth, okay? I'm going to stop holding back and just say what needs to be said, right? So the demons that are within our bodies are really kind of are parasites and worms and all these things that are being injected into the food and that are harboring within our bodies, right? And that really affect our mental health, that really affect our thinking and our brain, okay? It's very important to do parasite cleanses, okay? It's very important to do detoxes for this reason, okay? It's like a lot of these demons that we're fighting are really just poor health, poor gut health. And, you know, it's really difficult now because I'm kind of coming to the understanding that all food is tainted. Even the food that we, you know, may deem as healthy, you know, fruits, vegetables, and herbs, even if you grow it yourself. You know, the soil is polluted, the air is polluted, the water is polluted, right? I don't want people to get so stuck on that, right? You know, I'm very big into health, and I really like to experiment with different types of lifestyles, different types of ways of eating, you know. And there is definitely something to herbal cleanses. There is definitely something to fasting. And there is definitely something to these parasites and these worms that are within our guts, within our bloodstreams, okay? That attack our thinking, our mental, that attack our pineal gland, okay? That calcify our pineal gland, right? Because that is the seat of the soul, okay? So I'm definitely picking up this energy of heavy detoxing, okay? And this is a great moon to do that, okay? This is a great time right now, whenever you're viewing this, to get into that energy of detoxing, okay? And it's not something that's going to be easy, okay? especially with so much toxicity, right? Especially if we've led our lives in such a toxic way, if we've had toxic eating habits or toxic ways of eating, right? And be careful of where who's cooking your food, okay? Be careful of the energy around your food, okay? Be careful of the energy of those touching your food, okay? You know, prayer is powerful. A simple prayer before you eat, a simple prayer before you cook, while you cook, after you cook, is very powerful, right? Whatever it is that you believe. I'm also getting to skin irritations, rashes, and breakouts, like acne breakouts, okay? This is also a part of detox as well, too. You could be experiencing a kind of like an influx of different energy within your environment, okay? And it could be causing some type of skin irritations. I'm also getting to something about the teeth, like tooth pain, okay? You know, by utilizing certain herbs, especially seaweeds, this can help minimize the radiation effects that we all unfortunately are experiencing. So seaweeds of all kinds are very helpful. Spirulina, kelp, dulse, sea moss. These are really effective. And you know what's interesting? I was reading about how there's this kind of this influx of seaweed down south, the United States and Florida. There's like this influx of seaweed on the beaches where it's almost like you have to walk through these piles and piles of seaweed in order to get into the water. And someone from, I think this was on the Weather Channel, I was reading this, they were saying that it has to do with nitrogen or something, or added nitrogen because of, poor environmental practices. And what was I just saying about seaweed now? You know, and I think that the earth provides for us in miraculous ways, and the earth will always provide for us, right? Regardless of what is going on, too, right? And the earth will always find a way to balance, okay? This is just my belief. So seaweeds are definitely important. Seaweeds are definitely significant, okay? Maybe that's something you should try. And maybe the reason why there's such an overproduction of seaweed, sure, maybe it has to do with the nitrogen. And maybe it has to do with the earth providing a solution for us, okay? Nature is very healing. Nature is very healing. So let's get on into this. We will get a collective reading. Okay, what does the collective need to know here, please? This full moon in Capricorn. Now, we have conception. 16, conception. The frequency of conception invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, the place where everything in creation begins. It helps us to remember the infinite potential and possibilities of this space, and what we can manifest through our own focused awareness and intention. Okay, so there's a lot to be birthed right now, or there's this energy of things being birthed, okay, with perception on the bottom, and if that's how you wish to perceive it, okay? It's almost like there's this new way of looking at things, okay? It's almost like a new way of being is being emerged or is birthing within the collective right now. Put that up right there so I can see it. So the frequency of perception supports our natural curiosity, moving us beyond our comfort zone to find the edges of what we perceive as real and to take a good, hard, deep look at it, okay? So, yeah, so before we want to birth new things, right, you kind of have to take a look at your environment, take a look at the state of things, okay? In order for the new to come about, you need to take a good, hard, deep look at what is current, okay? And what is blocking that, right? Because conception is just the beginning of birth, okay? So there's something about manifestation too, right? It's like there's a need to kind of clear things out, okay? Because you're just in the beginning stages, right? So with detoxing, right? Detoxing the mind, body, and spirit, it's important so that you can see, so that you are able to perceive what actually is real and what is not, okay? I got some new cards and I'm very happy about it. Very grateful. So let's get some collective energy here, please. It's like there's a lot of distractions, right? It's almost like what is real and what is not real, okay? It's almost like sometimes I think that the dream state is starting to become more real than this actual state, right? 1111. It's all about portals too, right? It's all about the conception of new portals, the conception of new realities, okay? Of new possibilities, right? It's like there's a lot being birthed in the subconscious of the collective, okay? That's kind of going to shift humanity into a completely different stage. And you know, what really matters, what truly matters here, and that's what we need to take a look at, and take a look at what the truth actually is, right? How much of these illusions are truth, right? What is the purpose of these illusions? Take a good, hard, deep look at what the purpose behind these illusions are, okay? Okay, collective energy. We have Leo here. Okay, so this is all about, I'm hearing the sun too, so something to do with the sun, all right? There's Leo. You could be a Leo too. I'm hearing moon in Leo as well, and Venus in Leo. Okay, so something about the sun too. Something about the sun rays, something about the sun and radiation is significant here, okay? And maybe by sitting in the sun too, you'll be able to gain some type of insight, okay? It's like there's a lot of sun, the sun has codes, right? You know, I'm always so intrigued by things that are unusual, right? Things that are different. You know, breatharians, people that have that survive off of water and air and the sun, right? The sun does fuel us, you know, and I've had dreams too. I'm gonna make another video about this. And dreams and kind of deep meditation, almost like a trance meditation in water, okay? I don't know if I want to say this. Did I say this? I'll save it for that video. Or if I'm being guided to bring it up. But there's something about the water too, and about the sunlight. Right? There's I got a little thrown off there. it's almost, you know, we're all on a journey, right, too. And I'm diving with 8th house here. I'm diving deep into like these into, you know, what the nature of death really means, right? I'm diving deep into like the mysteries of life and the mysteries of things, period, you know, and being submerged in water and something about water is very it's very significant, and it's almost like some of the visions and dreams that I'm having are you know, it's almost, I'm getting like almost choked up in a sense, because it gives me so much hope, right? It gives me so much hope that there is infinite potential and possibilities out there. No matter what is going on the news, no matter what is going on in our immediate environments, there truly is infinite potential and possibilities throughout all time and space. And I'm also picking up on like Atlantis vibes too, Atlantean vibes. I do believe a lot of people, a lot of souls that were incarnated at that time, at the fall 1616, the fall of Atlantis, are currently incarnating and have been incarnating here now too. Because there's this need for this leadership, right? There's this need in leadership of this life or death change in humanity, okay? And finding out what humanity's true origin is, like finding out what our capabilities actually are, you know, as a human vessel, as a human being. I truly believe there's infinite potential and possibilities, you know. And breathing underwater, right? It's almost like I really get these thoughts and kind of these ideas that come to me, and it's like, isn't it strange how we are being charged for water, you know, water to drink, water for, you know, our plumbing and our showers and baths. We're being charged water when we live in a water world, right? And it's almost like it seems like the sky, right? The clouds almost looks like water. And I've noticed this for the last couple years now, you know, and I'm seeing it more and more. It's like, it's water, right? And sometimes I think like, well, maybe the sky is really the sea and the sea is really the sky, right? Maybe space is really what's beneath us underwater, right? Kind of that as above, so below, and kind of that inverted thinking in a sense. So yeah, there's definitely a need to take leadership, right? This is individual leadership, okay? This is leadership within the collective. This is leadership within oneself, right? So there's major changes regarding the mysteries of life, regarding what power is, okay? Personal power, other people's power, your resources, other people's resources, okay? And it's like, when you have power, it's like, what do you do with it? Okay, it's like, how do you obtain that power, and how do you use that power? Okay, and there's something about inventiveness, creativity, and leadership. Okay, leadership is really important, right? It's like it's almost like everyone wants to be the same, you know. They're with all these trends that people follow and things like that. You know, they want people thinking the same and dressing the same and doing the same things. And that's not what we need right now. It's like right now we need that bold, creative, fiery leadership, okay? To forge a new path. And before we do that, right, we have to let go of what is really not real, okay? And I pose this question, I wonder, you know, because there's such this infinite potential and so many infinite possibilities. Is what is real, like, can that change, right? You know, like our reality is like what was considered real 20 years ago. Is that considered real now? Does that have to do with our ascension, our awakening? Or is that just kind of the nature of change? You understand what I'm saying? Okay, and we have Gemini here too. Okay, so it's like there's definitely a need to seek out more information. Okay, it's like there's two different types of energy, and you have to be careful too with the energy and the information too, right? It's like some information can almost act as a soul tie to you, right? You know, there's so much mind manipulation going on, and the things, it's almost like that analysis paralysis, right? Like when you research and when you learn new things, you have to be mindful of doing it in kind of like the quickest way. It's more almost like you want to do things in more of like the most efficient way, right? It's like there's a lot of, I'm seeing like a seesaw, like fluctuations too. I'm also seeing test tubes, and I'm seeing someone mixing things in test tubes, okay? So there's a lot that's kind of unclear. There's a lot that, it's a lot of confusion, okay? It's almost like there's certain sacrifices in communication, certain sacrifices within information needs to come about. Okay, it's like you have to it's like there's this need to kind of sacrifice for the greater good. Okay, it's like very big picture thinking, big picture feeling I'm getting here too. Okay. Yeah, I'm also picking up on, you know, the perception of leadership, right? How, what leadership truly means, okay? And how has leadership or lack thereof kind of put us in this state of discontent, okay, or has almost halted our manifestations, right, or almost halted how we communicate, like what we communicate to be potential and possibilities. All right. It's like there's two sides of a coin, right? There's two different ways. There's many different ways of viewing things. And I'm also getting to, it's like there's a mystery within communication methods right now, okay? It's almost like you kind of have to see through the fog, right? It's almost like you have to be able to read the clouds, right? Read the fog. Like, what is the fog trying to say, okay? It's like there's something hidden beneath many different layers, okay? And you can apply this on a grand scale. You can apply this on an individual scale as well, too. The Seven of Cups. There's that delusion, okay? And we have the Hierophant too, so it's like, what do you... That's belief systems too, right? That's authority. That is, you know, higher power. That is It's almost like the deception, the illusions, the many different options, all this information. There's a deep spiritual lesson within all of it, okay? Yeah, there's like a deep spiritual lesson within all of the illusions, right? Within all of the, the spell casting, right? That's like how we come into this world, through conception, right? But it's something about how we perceive all this. But there's certain things that we need to sacrifice in order to see through the confusion, see through the idealization, right? It's like there's very deep, there's deep structural change here too, okay? That's too many. And like what we... It's where we give to, all of our senses are extremely important, and the sensory overload is very significant. And a lot of this, it's almost like Back to the Future, okay? If you haven't seen those movies, Back to the Future, I'm being guided to tell you to watch those, okay? My little reprieve that I've taken here. I watched the first one and some of the second one, and I was... Something about these older movies, okay? There's so many more codes, right? It's like that's how... the Matrix communicates through media, through movies, right? And it's like the Back to the Future it was so fascinating to me, right? And that's almost how I'm feeling, right? It's like we're going back to the future, okay? But what is the future? But if time is fluid, if time is really this illusion, what exactly is the future? Okay, the power of now is very important too. We have the Chariot. Yeah, so it's like once we can see through these illusions, we have the Moon card here too. Yeah. So once we're able to kind of see through these illusions and instill within us or actualize this spiritual transformation, this deep change, okay, work through these deep spiritual esoteric lessons, then we're able to move forward, right? It's really about balancing the light and the dark within, okay? There's a lot of things that are... It's like there's so much that has been operated in the dark, right? Again, I'm seeing like the seesaw. The balancing here. There's so much that has been operated in the dark. The two sides of the coin, there has to be things that are operated in the light. Like a lot of things are to be brought to light, right? That's with this conception. It's like the light is being birthed. Does that make sense? I'm also getting to like the sun carries so many light codes, right? There's so many light codes for our ascension. That's why it's important to be out in the sun, to feel, to breathe the fresh air. And that's why there's all these things going on environmentally as well too. Okay, but there's something about the sun that's hidden too. Okay, we have 9 of Cups. Okay, so 7 of Cups, 9 of Cups. That's a lot of emotion here. Okay, that's a lot of. It's almost like there's an overabundance of illusions, right? It's almost like the fog is so thick you can't see it all, right? And when you put your floodlights on, it just makes it even worse, okay? You have to be able to, and with Leo here, there's the sun, right? So it's like you have to take leadership to be the light through these illusions, right? Be the light through all these emotions, okay? Solid, stable, stoic. Stoicism is really important here too, right? And that makes sense with the Capricorn full moon. Okay. What is this Hierophant? We have Four of Pentacles. Yeah, it's almost like there's, you know, a Hierophant, Four of Pentacles. There's this rebirth that's trying to happen, right? It's like this emotional fulfillment, something about the water, okay? The water is meant to rebirth you. Water is meant to help heal you, okay? Water is memory. Water is emotion. Water is intuition, okay? And you contaminate the water, and you don't drink enough water, right? You kind of place these illusions around what water actually is, okay? And that will hold a lot of things back. This is a very deep read. I love it. I have chills all over my body. I love when I read these type of things, and I'm glad I recorded this. So yeah, there's Hierophant and Four of Pentacles too. So it's like there's a lot that's held back spiritually. Okay, who we are as spiritual beings, who we are as human beings, is really, a lot of that is held back from us, right? And it's almost like it's held back on purpose, right? But with the pentacle that's on top of this Four of Pentacles head, that's the only one that's not kind of almost held hostage in a sense, right? So free your mind is what I'm getting at here. What is this Chariot? Six of Pentacles. Okay. Yeah, a lot of balance is needed, right, to work through these illusions, okay? The Devil and Nine of Swords, okay? It's like there's a lot of balance that's needed, okay? It's like where you have to really be careful where you're giving your energy to, right? What information you're soaking in through all your senses, through sound, through sight, through taste, through smell, through feel, through touch. You know, and with Gemini here too, it's almost, again, that information overload, right? There's just so much stuff that's being thrown at us, right? And I think it's because so much has been operated in the dark, okay? So much has been operated with kind of nefarious intentions too, to the point where, you know, the scales will always balance. Right, so there's definitely a need to get grounded here too. Yeah, Page of Pentacles. Learn something new, and I think there's a lot to be learned through illusion itself, right? Through fog, through Neptunian energy. Okay, it's like as much as Neptune is, you know, illusion and fog and confusion and idealization, Neptune is also inspiration, okay? Neptune is kind of, it's about, Neptune is that higher octave of Venus, okay? So it's love, values, 33. It's like there's something to be learned. There's new, you know, Page of Pentacles. This to me is like, it's like cherished information I'm getting here too. It's like this little pentacle, it's like a little tidbit that you're gonna learn, right? It could be through meditation. It could be through some type of something in water. Maybe you have an experience in water kind of similar to I've had, that it's almost so precious, right? And it's like this precious little piece of information, right? Could help free your mind, okay? There's a lot to learn, okay? And it's also really important to be careful the portals that you walk through with information, okay? Because you don't want to succumb to that information overload, okay? But there's a lot of things that needs to be walked away from, okay? And it's like there's definitely like it's like a matter of life or death too with some information is what I'm getting. We have the Magician. Yeah, so there's a lot of yellow here too. So again, the sun, right? It's like there's a lot of, again, I keep picking up on a lot of things that were in the dark, right? A lot of things that were done behind the scenes, okay? Through means of manipulation, through means of magic, right? Over the collective, over authority, okay? So there's deep spiritual lessons here too, right? And it's like, but with this precious information that's available for all of us to learn, it's like this inspiration for this new life. It's like the inspiration of new life, right? That it's almost like this information about new life, about this new, about what's being, about this conception, right? It's like it wants to make itself known, in a sense. And it's almost like right now is the time to be prepared to... It's time to be prepared to go to the sun, right? Head towards the sun. And the sun finally shows out, right? And we have the Fool on the bottom. Wow. Be careful of moving too fast with information where you kind of put yourself, where you know, Five of Pentacles is illness too, okay? It's like that lack mentality, you know, like we can absorb so much information and we can learn so many new things, and even kind of coming to the realization that, wow, there really truly is infinite potential and infinite possibilities that we can manifest through our own focused awareness and intention. And not just individually, collectively, okay? And collectively it's really important, you know, there's so much that's done to kind of almost persuade the collective and keep the collective in like this Four of Pentacles, in like this box kind of mentality. It's really all about perception too, right? So there's this need to take a real good, hard look deep. A real good, hard, deep look at things. I'm also getting to just be mindful of certain... It's like almost certain information is meant to make people sick. Or make people ill. Okay? But it's like this new beginning, the Sun and the Fool. This new beginning is coming regardless. It's like the light. All this operating in the dark and all this darkness, right? There has to be the balance of the light too. That's kind of just the nature of things, right? So maybe what this is about too, it's our perception, right, of what is actually being birthed, right? And of course it can be scary, you know, because the collective, we have been kind of programmed to what death is, okay? And what we've been like programmed to be so fearful of death. And we've been programmed that death is a certain thing, and I don't think death is what we've been programmed for it to believe. Right? So programming is important too. The programmers are significant here too. Wow. Well, I need to go submerge in some water. This was deep. So I hope this helps, and I hope you have a wonderful day.